Who fancies a bit of Kylian Mbappe at Liverpool? And for once, it's not me. It's not the Echo. It's not us pushing it. It's Get French Football News. They're saying that Liverpool and Kylian Mbappe is a possibility. That Kylian Mbappe likes the idea of playing for Liverpool. And who am I to deny Kylian Mbappe that potential opportunity to come and play for the greatest football club in the world? So, over to you, Kylian. Imagine. It's not going to happen, but imagine. It is at Get French Football News who have said Liverpool remains an option for Kylian Mbappe, and he could be tempted if a bid were to be made by Liverpool. Now, interestingly, the situation that Kylian Mbappe finds himself in this golden cage of money that he has. That's the problem that he has. He's just got so much money that he has to find another club who are willing to give him all of that money and more money. And apparently, Get French Football News think Liverpool could be that club. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, the best VPN on the market. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location to access websites in other countries and keep you safe and secure from hackers. Using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries or other streaming platforms like DAZN in Spain for all those important Premier League games. Surfshark keeps you safe and private by protecting everything you do online. Everything. When your device connects to the internet, all that information is, in a way, blurred out. Surfshark is particularly useful for keeping you safe from being hacked if you use public Wi-Fi. Let's say you're in a cafe, you're at college, you're out and about, they've got you covered. Surfshark allows you to use one subscription on unlimited devices, meaning you can share your account with friends or family or that neighbour who's a little bit cheap. On top of all of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data, such as emails and credit cards, and an antivirus software for your desktop. Our sign-up offer gives you Surfshark VPN for a little over €2 a month, and you'll get an additional 3 months free. Simply scan the QR code on screen right now or use the link in the description and enter the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. But the interesting point on this is, as things stand, his contract with PSG runs out at the end of the current campaign, meaning if he were to wish, he could sign a pre-contract agreement with Liverpool, with Real Madrid, or with anybody outside of the French league in January. So, clock's ticking, PSG. You either allow the dude to leave on a free, or you somehow get him to sign on for a new deal with a guaranteed buyout clause. But either way, it's going to get interesting. Look, I don't think there's any hope Liverpool sign Kylian Mbappe. But what I can say with certainty is that there have been a couple of occasions where John W. Henry and FSG have tried to get Kylian Mbappe. And I don't know how people think we're going to be able to afford him, because we've seen before we struggled to give Mohamed Salah £350,000 a week and he was smashing records. So I'm not going to hold my breath waiting for Kylian Mbappe to join Liverpool, but it will be interesting in January if PSG haven't tied him down to a new deal. If this is true, we should have sold Salah. Also, is that a reliable source? Well, yes. I mean, they're one of the biggest publications of all things French football. Now, I'm not saying they have information we don't have. I'm not saying that they're trying to say it's a formality. Far from it. But they are reporting that Mbappe could be tempted if Liverpool were to make a bid. I assume Real Madrid are coming in January to sign Mbappe. Whether it's on a pre-contract and then he comes at the end of the season or whatever. I assume that's what they're doing. They've obviously redone the Santiago Bernabeu and they want their big players. They've got Vinicius Jr. They've got themselves Rodrigo. They've got Jude Bellingham. I'm sure they could find a place for Kylian Mbappe, but, you know, we can dream. We can dream for a little bit. And I want Ryan Reynolds, but it'll never happen, said Rachel. Never say never, Rachel. Just get yourself down to Wrexham. You never know. Couple of pints in and Rachel, you turn on the charm. Anything's possible. I'm still waiting now for the day I bump into Mila Kunis or Katie Holmes in Tesco. Hasn't happened yet, but you never know, Rachel. We hold out. What's with the Mbappe nonsense again? I mean, Jesus, for the love of God, Brett. Relax. Get so worked up about it, dude. It's a bit of transfer talk that French Football News put out. I'm not sitting here telling you I seen Mbappe at the Tesco in I don't know, somewhere around Liverpool. Crosby, let's go with. He's going to a different team every week. I know, you're right. But it is interesting, right? Because right now, as I've said, he can sign a pre-contract in January with anybody outside of the French league, and there's nothing the PSG can do about it. The ball is very, very, very much in Kylian Mbappe's court. Now, of course, we all expect and almost are guaranteed that he'll end up at Real Madrid, but it's interesting. You know, I remember Calvé Solokol saying he earns between, I think he said, 1 and 1.5 million a week, including bonuses or something like that. So yeah, there's no way that I can see John W. Henry ponying up that much money for Mbappe. But maybe Nike get involved. Maybe, I don't know. I want there to be a possibility of it, but I think we all know it's very, very, very unrealistic. But he does seem to have a fondness for Liverpool. I think his mum's a Liverpool fan, if I'm not mistaken, and you know, we're one of the few clubs that he does get linked with. Mbappe is a rat. The story with the transfer to Real Madrid is proof of this. We don't need him, said Rob. Rob, I don't think we're signed on him, mate, to be honest with you. Nor do I think we have room for anybody with what looks like to have as much of an ego as Mbappe has. The time to get Mbappe, I think, Rob, would have been, you know, that time he made the move from Monaco. I think if you got Mbappe right then, that would have been a time where maybe a club like Liverpool could have, I don't say controlled him a bit more, but now I think he's too big. And I don't mean he's too big for Liverpool, I just mean I think he's just, everything around him is just too much of a ball ache. So yeah, tough one. I think he ends up at Real Madrid, Rob, in all honesty. What about Barella? Because I was wondering this summer why nobody went in for Barella. Nobody really. Newcastle made a bit of a play. But according to the media, next summer, Barella could be available for £77 million, and apparently Inter Milan will be far more open to selling at that point. So they say in this article that Chelsea and Newcastle suffered setbacks in their pursuit of Barella, but that next summer Inter could be more open to selling him for £77 million. I don't see Liverpool really being involved in that conversation because he'd be, 28 then? And we've just rebuilt our midfield. So, not one that I think will end up at Anfield. I think at 28, I don't agree with not going for him either at 28. I think what we have now is potentially going to be topped up when Thiago leaves. And I said to you guys before, my own personal guess is that maybe if we go back in for Andre in January, that will be the end of the midfield rebuild, really. Saudi will come in for him. But will he want to go? Let's be honest. You know, will Barella at 28 want to move over to Saudi? Probably not. There was an interview on Sky Sports with the guy who was in charge of all transfers or all incomings to the Saudi Pro League, and his answers were hilarious. So apparently nobody ever talks about anything outside of, you know, football and the money when they're moving over there. None of the players have ever raised human rights concerns, or nobody's ever spoken about, I don't know, the fact that homosexuality is illegal or anything like that. They're all just very interested in the sporting project, according to this guy. Of course they are, mate. Of course they are. Do you think with the right January signings we can win the league? I think we can push for the league now. In my mind, we're in a title race. I look at it this way. I look around the Premier League. I see a Manchester City team somewhat in transition off the back of a really, really hectic season last year. Still with those 105 or 106 charges hanging over their head. I see an Arsenal team who certainly look very good, are also relatively new to the title race. They suffered a setback themselves last season in their own push for the title. So, you know, they're going to want to bounce back. But outside of those two, I don't really see much that I think is better than us. I think we should be in a competition with Manchester City and Arsenal for the Premier League this season. Spurs have started off very well, but I feel like they're a couple of injuries away from dropping down the table a little bit. Chelsea have a lot of groundwork to make up on. Newcastle have only 3 points from 12. Manchester United aren't very good. And Anthony, of course, is on a bit of a prolonged break at the minute as he tries to sort out the allegations against him. So yeah, look, I look at it and I just don't see better teams than us. I don't see that there's nobody in the league I'm scared of. with this Liverpool team. That's the honest truth. Look, to win a league title or to push for a league, everything needs to go your way. You know, you need to have a bit of luck with injuries. You need to win the big head-to-head games. But we've had a bit of luck, right? So we turned around that 1-0 deficit to Newcastle with 2 brilliant Darwin goals laid on. And 10 points from 12 after the start we've had. I'm really happy right now as a Liverpool fan. Our defence is stopping us from challenging for the title, says Mohammed. It's certainly a worry, my friend. It really is. And anybody, I think, who says otherwise to you, I think they're being disingenuous with you. Our attack's brilliant. I think we'll all agree with that. Not much better in the league, or in Europe, really, than our attack. Midfield is somewhat of an unknown. You know, we're still getting used to the new players, and Endo hasn't fully bedded in. We haven't seen Gravenberch at all, obviously, since he joined, because he joined right at the end of the window. Bajcetic is coming back. So I think in midfield, I'm happy. I'm happy with what we've done there. But I can't argue with what Mohammed said and what Paul said. We are defensively a little bit vulnerable. Who's your first manager pick to get the boot? Surely Pochettino ain't going to get the boot that early. Surely even Todd Bowley isn't that mad. Imagine if Bowley does actually sack Pochettino. Like, where do you go from there? Like, they've tried the young, hungry manager. Didn't work. They brought in Pochettino, who's somewhere in the middle, I guess. Bit more experienced. Not working so far. But with all those signings, I mean, it's going to be almost impossible for a manager to, one, keep everybody happy and make that squad gel. Oh, you think Company will get sacked there, Wizzy Lover? After what he did to bring them up? Oh, that'd be really harsh on Vincent Kompany. He did a great job with Burnley and changing their style of football and bringing them straight back up. That'd be a tough one if he got the boot. Famous last words, said Rabadan. Surely Bowley isn't that mad. Well, fair Rabadan. You never know it with Mr. Bowley what way he's thinking. Right, a couple of little bits and pieces. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're with us or you haven't subscribed yet. You're with us for the first time, maybe. Do drop a like on the stream. Only 300 likes. We've got 2,200 people, in the chat. So if we could all take a sec, hit that like button, that would be much appreciated. Eddie Howe is maybe a good shout, Ben. Ben Mitau said Eddie Howe. Well, it's tough to get away from 3 points from 12, Ben. It's not been a great start for Eddie Howe. Now, you can look at it that he's had some tough fixtures in there. Liverpool, Manchester City, Brighton, right? Wasn't it Brighton that beat them last? Yeah, they've not had a great start, and I wonder how long they give it before maybe the pressure does heap on his shoulders, because the Champions League group is very, very, very difficult. So they'll be doing well to get out of that group. I mean, very well. So yeah, maybe we will see how patient the Saudi owners of Newcastle will be with Eddie Howe. Right, so Jason McAteer has been speaking about Caoimhín Kelleher, and he said he was the hero of the League Cup final. He had great moments for the club, but for me, football is playing football. He's on the bench behind the best goalkeeper in the world. He'll look back in years to come and say, I wasted those years. So Jason McAteer believes Caoimhín Kelleher should probably move on in search of first team football. You know what? I'd love to be selfish about it and say stay at Liverpool, but I kind of do understand exactly where Jason McAteer is coming from. You don't want to look back at your career being 26, 27, 28 and still be second choice keeper when he is good enough to be a first choice keeper in the Premier League. So I just don't want it to happen until we have a very, very, very capable deputy. So I don't know how far Pitaluga is in his progression, but I know one thing. I don't want Adrian San Miguel to be the second goalkeeper at Liverpool Football Club. Right, so simple question. Should Kelleher leave Liverpool to get first team games? Yes or no? Up to you guys to vote. I think we do sell him, but we need someone who's better than Adrian to be our second choice keeper, said Jay Edits. Yeah, I'm no argument with that, dude. We defo need better than Adrian San Miguel for a second choice keeper, 100%. We should sell him, but ensure there's a buyback clause, said AP. I would imagine that would be, I'd imagine that would be a good idea if we did sell him, to put a buyback clause in there. It's a really tough situation though, because he's more than good enough to come in and be our number two, like absolutely. But best of luck dislodging Alisson Becker, because the best goalkeeper in the world. JJITH said, what's your take on Hendo? You can call me Ab. Thank you, Ab. That makes it a lot easier. My take on Hendo is that he's a rat. Simple. And I'm very strong on this. Jordan Henderson played us all for fools and ran off at the first opportunity, showed that he wasn't about the morals and the life that he professed to be. And nobody's ever going to convince me otherwise. Now, I'm not here to try and convince you otherwise. I respect everybody else's view on the Henderson situation. But my view is that he's thrown away a good chunk of his legacy for a payday. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He's not a rat, he's just a flawed human being. Again, Josh, you're free to have your opinion, and I respect it, but I think he's a rat. Simple as. But I respect other people's opinion on it, mate. It is one of those subjects that will divide us as Liverpool fans. So, again, I respect what you're saying, and I hope you respect what I'm saying. He without sin and all that. No. Bullshit, Josh. Now we have a little bit of an issue here. You don't get to say he without sin when you made a shitload of cash and got a shitload of positive PR and were held up by the media and praised for your morals and your ethics and the way you went about and conducted yourself, only to turn your back on all of that at the first opportunity and run off. So I'm sorry, dude. There we have a bit of a difference, because it isn't a case of he who's without sin and all that. Far from it. It's a case of you claim to be one thing and you're actually something different. And one of the reasons I loved him was because of that morality, that stance, that leadership. And that's why it hurt so much that he turned his back on that and ran off, because he didn't want to fight for his place, and he threw his toys out of the pram like he did previously. Only the last time, Jurgen backed him. Jurgen fought for him. Jurgen made the owners give him a new deal. And how did he repay that? By running off at the next opportunity when he thought that maybe he mightn't get as many minutes as he wanted. He thought, you know what? I don't feel loved here anymore. He was literally the captain of our football club. I didn't make any cash though, Craig, I can say it. But you're not talking about you, Josh. That's the point. You're saying he without sin cast the first stone, as in about Henderson. And I'm far better morals than Jordan Henderson, so I can absolutely lash a load of stones if I want. I'm not perfect, but I'm not claiming to be. That's my point though. It's not his place to judge our morality. It absolutely is our place to judge it. 100%. Same way it's your place to judge me. You know, you can think I'm an asshole and not watch, but I'm putting myself out here to be judged. Same with Henderson. We're not talking about what he did on a football pitch here. We're talking about the stances he made, the causes that he professed to care about. He brought that on. That wasn't to do with Liverpool or the FA. That was Jordan Henderson wanting to portray himself in that way to the public and to the world. So again, I still think we differ on this, but that's okay. Dude, you'd sell yourself for that kind of cash as well, give it a break. No, I wouldn't. And that's the thing, mate. Anybody that knows me knows I wouldn't. So I'm not going to give that a break. And again, just because you have no morals, don't think the rest of us are all the same. I could have sold this channel for a lot of money to somebody that wouldn't have done it justice, and I didn't. I have my own morals that I hold dearly, and anyone that knows anything about me, that's ever met me, that knows me, knows how strongly those morals guide my life. So again, just because you're a bottom of the barrel scraping asshole who would sell your granny for a fiver, don't think the rest of us are all the same as you. I know who I am, and I know what I'm about. So again, I don't really give a fuck what you think of me. But you don't get to tell me that I will do something I know I wouldn't do.